Vindicators are known for running headfirst into battle with an explosive power behind each hit. These dark knights faithfully serve the evil wizards that rule their land. However, our kingdom is under attack. A new portal has appeared, unleashing redstone monsters upon the world and opposing the Arch-Evoker's rule. Will I be able to take out this redstone invasion and find out why they are here? What other creatures will come out of the portal? It seems an evil red witch commands this powerful force and must be stopped before it's too late. This is my chance to finally prove myself and become a royal guard. And it looks like my first quest is to stop these redstone goblins from taking over our fortress. Then I can find their portal and destroy it. I'm gonna need all the help I can get, so subscribe to join our ranks. Now I have 100 days as a Vindicator to save the world. Day 1, I spawned in a fortified mansion and a redstone goblin snuck up on me. I turned around, punched him away, and ran for the door. I didn't have anything on me, so I ran for the forest and began gathering wood. I quickly crafted an axe and went back to protect the mansion. The goblin was joined by a few of his friends and they all came toward me at once. I tried my best to fight them off, and when I got inside, I went to this mined out area to grab a few cobblestone. After getting a better axe, I ran around the mansion killing off all the intruders. Then I let the mansion's pet ravagers loose, and they definitely helped turn the tide. I also saved this royal guard from perishing, but I got a bit too confident and this horde knocked me down to 2.5 hearts. Luckily, I climbed up this gross chicken, and the general of our forces came down from the roof and used his powerful crossbow to kill all the goblins chasing me.
Good job out there, rookie.
Thanks.
Sweep through the mansion for any stragglers and meet me on the roof tomorrow bright and early for your first mission.
You got it. It took a while to check every room in the mansion. There was not much to find until I started walking down this hallway. The atmosphere felt a little off, and when I got to the end of the hallway, I found this strange man standing before me. He slowly turned around and told me about this video sponsor, Mobile Premier League. There is an amazing app called MPL where you can find and play over 10 plus games, compete against other players, and earn actual cash. Just pick any game on the app to play to begin earning real money. And the money you get from playing can be quickly and easily withdrawn via PayPal or bank transfer. If you are on iOS, you can download the app from the App Store, and if you're on Android, you can download the app straight from the MPL website. Some of my favorite games they offer are Block Puzzle, 8 Ball Blast, Fruit Chop, and 21 Puzzle. It is super easy to get started, and you can enter tournaments to compete with other people around the world. Performing well in these tournaments can win you some nice cash prizes. And here is the best part. When you download the MPL app, using the link in my description, you will earn $5 just by signing up, plus up to a $20 referral bonus for signing up a friend. So download the app, go have some fun, write your favorite game in the comments, and let me know if you win some money. He was so excited to tell me about the app, and it seemed like a pretty great deal. But when he finished telling me about it, he broke the window and jumped out, disappearing into the night. So I got some rest, and the next morning I met the general on the roof.
I heard you want to prove yourself and become a royal guard.
More than anything, sir.
There are some villagers causing unrest in a nearby village. We can't fight off this redstone invasion with talks of rebellion amongst the villagers. The Arch-Evoker wants someone to go out there to show them that he still rules these lands. If you can handle this, I will have some more missions for you. Good luck.
He gave me a cool helmet and sent me on my way. As I began to leave the mansion and head toward the village, I realized I was very underprepared. I collected some more wood and went down to this nearby cave for iron. While I was mining some coal, this weird redstone cube thing startled me. It was pretty aggressive, and you'll see later on how scary these things are in swarms. Just one of them managed to knock my health down lower than what I was comfortable with. I had to put mining on pause and went to go look for some food. I didn't need too much since I was heading towards the village. And that night I had a nice snack and a full set of armor. I must admit this helmet looks pretty good on me. I spent days 3 and 4 traveling to the nearby village that was causing problems. They were reported for illegally spawning in iron golems, building up defenses, and storing extra food. On day 5, when I arrived at the village, I immediately killed their iron golems. I then noticed the illager guards sent here were missing. That's when one of those wanderers came out and tried to attack me. We began to fight, but I guess the village didn't pay him enough because he ran off before we could finish our duel. I let them keep the extra defenses in case the redstone army marched through here, but I did take their extra wheat. The next day, I began traveling back to the mansion, and that's when I noticed the wandering trader I fought previously who ran into some redstone mobs. After enjoying the show for a little while, I figured I better head back before I get in trouble for taking too long, and I luckily didn't didn't run into anything else on my way home. On the night of day 8, I returned to the mansion and reported back to the general. Everything is taken care of, sir.
Did you run into any problems?
Just one. A wandering trader who tried to be a hero, but I scared him off.
The Archivoker has dealt with your kind before. No need to consider him a threat. I have a bit of a new job for you. After what happened to the last mansion you served in.
Which was the chicken's fault more than my own, sir.
We think it's best you build a jail that can't burn down easily for any prisoners we capture in this war. We don't really have resources to spare, so you're on your own with that. But trust me, this will be a big step toward your promotion.
Right away, sir. I went to sleep in a new room in the mansion that night, and now I get why some of the beds are so big. The next day, I searched the surrounding area for a good place to build a prison. I found a nice spot in the nearby mountains to build, and it was not too far away from the mansion. I'm pretty sure these were once training grounds because of this armor stand that was left out here. Anyway, I set up a little temporary camp and unloaded all my extra things. Then I spent days 10 through 12 mining and collected a lot of cobblestone and andesite for my build. I also gathered more iron to fortify the jail cells, coal to smelt everything, and diamonds when I got lucky. I upgraded my pickaxe the first chance I got and was eventually able to craft a nice diamond axe too. With some new tools and 6 extra diamonds, I headed back up to the surface on the night of day 12. Day 13, I scouted out more of the surrounding area while I waited for my iron and cobblestone to smelt. While exploring, I came across a few stray redstone cubes, and they are much faster than they look. And it's pretty scary how much damage they can deal. But before I could kill them all, a mountaineer randomly appeared, striking them down and saving me. He had a really cool looking weapon, but he was a bit mysterious and wandered away before I could talk to him. The mountain illagers generally keep to themselves and don't like being told what to do. They are pretty tough adversaries, so the Archivoker usually just leaves them be. I just carried on with what I was doing and spent the next few days collecting dark oak wood and contemplating the interaction with that mountaineer. They are not generally ones to interfere with other illager matters. Day 17, I was back at my little encampment, organizing my things, when a Vindicator foot soldier showed up with new orders from the general. He wanted me to clear out a redstone guarded temple and get the TNT inside before they could. So I began traveling to the desert in search for the temple when I found a nearby village that was wiped out. The redstone monsters had definitely been through here. Day 19, I found the temple and there was a redstone golem out front. I did not want to try to face it yet with just iron armor on, so I waited until night, snuck around the back, and took out the goblins inside. Next, I dug down to the loot room, disarmed the trap, and found some pretty good loot inside. Then I made my way back to the surface, but the redstone golem had broken inside the temple. I quickly ran for an exit and escaped before he was able to get me. I spent the following 2 days traveling back home with the TNT and my heart still racing. As the sun glistened across the horizon on day 22, I made it back to the mansion and gave the general the TNT.
Perfect timing. The Archivoker has made a new batch of potions to make his soldiers bigger and stronger.
Is it safe?
Oh yeah, when I first met our ruler, I was just an average pillager. Soon after our pillager chieftain went missing, an evoker showed up and killed our replacement chieftain. Then we were honor bound to serve the evoker. After he returned from a wild witch chase, he became a little paranoid. So he made these potions for us, and then he proceeded to conquer these lands, establishing his power with his even stronger army.
That is awesome.
Now drink this and get back to work.
I drank the potion and immediately my inside started to burn. Then I could feel my muscles stretch as the potion coursed through my veins. And when I looked up, I was now the same size as the general. Luckily, my armor grew too. I felt much stronger and I had a lot more hearts now. I headed back to my camp and decided to go mining again for some diamonds to upgrade my gear. I spent the next several days underground. I should have definitely done this before drinking the potion because I could no longer fit in a 2-block space. I eventually had to just switch to searching through the caves for diamonds, and by the night of day 27, I had mined 22 more diamonds. I figured that plus the leftover from last time should be enough to craft some new armor. I did, however, decide to keep my cool looking helmet for now though to save some diamonds. Day 28, I thought I had enough resources to knock out to this jail build, so I plotted it out and realized that I would need some gray wool to complete it. So I traveled around looking for gray sheep to no avail. I had to kill a skeleton and a squid to get dye to make gray wool. Then I finally had everything I needed, but on my way back to the camp, I came across a gray sheep. The first thing I decided to build was the guard barracks. That way, I would have a nice place to sleep, and the guards could deploy out here at any time. I wanted to match the style of the mansion, but make it look a bit stronger and durable as requested. Now that the guards have a place to stay, I thought they would probably want some food too. Day 32, I began hunting down some different animals and realized that wouldn't last too long, so I decided to lure some sheep back to the barracks to farm them for mutton. Day 33, we all made it back to their new home, and I definitely should have gotten leads for this. After I put them in a nice little pen, I went to sleep through the night. The next 2 days were spent constructing these fortified walls to enclose any prisoners and give them no hope for escape. On day 36, a patrol party of pillagers showed up with another mission. We were supposed to scout out the region looking for the rumored portal that the Redstone invasion was coming from. During our travels, we reached a pillager outpost that was taken over and swarming with redstone monsters. And I'm pretty sure this was the same golem I ran into at the desert temple. It looked like they locked some pillagers in their own cage, so the pillager captain sent his 2 men to try to go sneak up and free the captured pillagers. But the redstone golem spotted them, and before we could do anything, the pillagers were killed. Soon the golem spotted us and began moving toward us. After the pillager captain told me to report this to the general, he charged toward the golem, giving me just enough time to escape. Days 40 and 41, I was traveling back to the mansion, but when I made it to the prison, I realized it wasn't finished yet. That would be too much bad news to give at once. So I spent the next 2 days constructing this tower to overlook the compound, and it was tall enough to spot any escapees or incoming attacks from far away. Then I took a few more days adding in the most important part, the prison cells. I built several small cells and one big cell big enough to house a redstone golem just in case. I also constructed a hanging cage for any prisoners that I don't really like. Day 47, I finished adding the last details to my build, and it was time to report back to the general. I was a little nervous to report back after everything that happened.
I'm impressed. You made it back in one piece.
I'm the only one that made it back.
Our forces are spread too thin. I told the Archivoker we needed more soldiers to accomplish that mission. What took so long to get back here?
I wanted to return with at least some good news. I finished building the prison.
Good thinking, he'll be pleased. Now go to these coordinates, search through the dungeons looking for anything that could turn the tide to this war. Don't go through any portals, and grab the armored horses in the field on your way back.
Yes, sir. The meeting actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. He does understand the cost of war and wants to end this fight as quickly as possible. After the meeting, he sent me back to the prison with some soldiers, and I gave him a tour of their new assignment. Then, after getting a good night's rest, I set out in search of the stronghold the general wanted me to explore. I was really glad that I was tasked with getting horses because all this walking around was getting pretty tiresome. I eventually arrived to the coordinates I was given and found the horses, but there were 2 goblins protecting what looked like an entrance. After killing them, I took a leap of faith and landed into a small little bath of water. I spent days 51 and 52 exploring the stronghold for any special magical items, or at least something of use. While I was down there, I made a wrong turn and got swarmed with cubes. Remember when I said these were terrifying as a swarm? I did manage to escape, but they trapped me in. So I searched this last room and found this weird looking book. The words didn't make too much sense, but I suspected the Archivoker might know what they mean. There was no other way out, so I went back to the swarm and hoped whatever I found would work. I read the first incantation as best as I could, and all the cubes began to float. I ran right under them and back to the way I came in. I did have to pillar back up to the surface, but then I got on the horse, attached a lead to the other one, and started the journey home. It took only 2 days to get back home by horseback. I put the horses in the stable outside the mansion and headed on in to get some rest. In the morning, I went to give the book back to the general.
You're doing a great job. Now I sent out some scouts to search the surrounding areas for the portal the redstone monsters are coming from. All but one scout reported back on time. I need you to find him or whatever killed him.
He sent me down to the armory to get a better axe because he didn't know what I'd face. And after waiting a little while, the mansion's blacksmith gave me a heavier, sharper axe than I have ever used before. Day 56, the general let me use one of the horses I brought back. Apparently, the other horse was the Archivoker steed. While I was out exploring, I found a crossbow and orders for a scout. I continued to explore the area, and that's when I saw the Red Witch, the leader of the Redstone invasion. She was standing with the other Redstone golem that came through the portal. This one seemed to stay close to her side. Then, something I was not expecting happened. She took out this giant staff, shot it at the golem, but it didn't hurt it. Instead, it transformed into an egg. She proceeded to scoop up the egg and go through the portal. I waited a minute and decided to follow her through. I spent day 59 following her through the Nether until we reached a fortress. On day 60, she respawned the Redstone golem and made it fight the wither skeletons and blaze there, like it was preparing for a fight or something. Then she also shot her staff at her new victims, turning them also into eggs and collecting them. I was so confused, but I had seen enough. As I was riding back to the mansion to report this, I recognized one area I rode through before. I was close to the pillager outpost that was captured. I decided to spy on it and saw that the Redstone golem was gone. So I ran in, killed everything there. Once all the hostiles were taken care of, I released the pillagers and let them get back to manning their posts while I continued on home. The morning of day 64, I met again with the general.
Any luck?
Kind of.
I see.
After I told him about what had happened, he told me to keep the crossbow and gave me some arrows. Then he told me to build a sparring arena to train a batch of new recruits. So I built a nice fighting ring out of some leftover resources I had from building the prison. I took the next 2 days to spar with different recruits and show them the ropes. I also made them do this parkour thing because I thought it'd be pretty funny. But on day 67, the training was interrupted by the mansion chef. He was an angry and older illager with a big appetite. While there seemed to be more important things at hand, he was persistent and a little scary. He heard I was good at getting things, so he tasked me with stealing some spicy mushrooms from a village. I sailed until I reached the village he spoke of. It was a very beautiful place, except for one house that was blown up randomly. Anyway, I searched through the village and found the local butcher was the one with spicy mushrooms. He seemed pretty stacked with emeralds, so his food must be pretty good. After a little bit of convincing, he gave up the mushrooms, so I sailed home and the chef rewarded me with spicy mushroom stew. The next day, the general found me and he had a serious look on his face.
We found the other golem. They're setting up a base in the redstone mines. Shocking, I know. I can't spare any reinforcements right now. You think you can take out this golem on your own?
I can try.
I think you might need some better armor first.
I finally got a promotion and achieved the lifelong goal of becoming a royal guard of the Archivoker. I felt so powerful, and you have to admit my armor looks pretty amazing. Then the general gave me some night vision potions and some health potions as a gift from the Archivoker. He also gave me one of the TNT I gave him along with a flint and steel. The blacksmith gave me a few more crossbows and I went on my way. I was a bit concerned because the redstone mines were pretty close to the mansion. It only took 1 day on horseback to get there. As the sun rose on day 71, I reached the mine and there was a few goblins outside that I smited, or is it smote? I killed them with ease. And then I made my way into the mine. It was very dark and creepy, with only a redstone golem standing before me. I presumed it was the one who killed my pillager patrol, so now it was time for revenge. I threw down a night vision potion and began circling the golem. I quickly took out one crossbow at a time, firing them all in a barrage toward the golem's direction. He moved closer to me and spawned these redstone blocks everywhere. I got a little too close to one and it blew up, doing a lot of damage. So I threw down a health potion and ran in with my axe. He really packed a punch, which would be expected from a giant rocky monster. So I retreated back a little bit to shoot off some more arrows, but he spawned more redstone mines. I had to keep running around, landing a hit whenever I could, until finally he toppled over defeated. I definitely would have died if I had tried to face him the first time we met. After I had cooled down some, I searched through the barrels in the mine and found redstone dust. I honestly didn't know what I expected, but in one chest I found this cursed axe. It looked so cool and went perfect with my royal armor. Day 72, I was traveling back home and came across some redstone soldiers, so I tested out my new axe, and it makes your enemy explode when you defeat them. This would have been so useful in so many circumstances I faced, but I was just happy to have it now, and there was a lot more fighting to do. We needed to stop the witch and her other redstone golem before they could carry out whatever they were planning. On day 73, I told the general I completed the quest, and he seemed a bit surprised to see me.
Man, you've become quite the valuable soldier. The Archivoker has granted you some land to build on. Take some time to rest and settle down there. And when we find the portal, I'll be sending for you.
The general let me keep the horse I got a few weeks ago, and I took the rest of that day gathering the leftover resources from building the prison and bringing them to where my new home would be. I spent day 74 gathering wheat seeds. I wanted my land to be a more peaceful place, so what better thing to have than a little farm? The next day, I planted all the seeds I collected and began making the blueprints to my new house. Since I was about all out of wood, I collected just enough to construct my house, and then I spent a few days building this quaint little place to call home. Now that I had a place of my own to protect, I wanted this invasion stopped now more than ever. I decided to spend the next several days looking for the portal and for any redstone mobs to kill. I came across what looked like a battle that was about to be over. Some illager soldiers were pinned down and were in need of my assistance. I ran in, killing everything with my powerful new axe. This was the best weapon I've ever had. And after a mighty battle, my fellow comrades were saved, and I began my journey back home, with not much luck finding the portal. But on day 84, when I made it back to my quaint little farmland, I was greeted by another royal guard. He informed me that a scout finally found the red portal and it was beginning to infect our land. So I got on my horse and began riding toward the coordinates to the portal. On day 88, I made it to the portal and the place was swarming with redstone mobs. I did not see any of my fellow soldiers waiting to attack, so right when I was about to charge the portal on my own, I heard a familiar voice.
Reinforcements have arrived.
I turned around and saw the general standing there with a Ravager at his side.
I'm so ready for a fight. fight.
Is that a talking Ravager?
Yes, I'm actually a personal friend of the Arch-Evoker.
Okay, well, I'm glad you could help. The Ravager and I ran into battle, killing everything in our path, while the general got to the high ground and shot his crossbow at his targets below. When the dust settled and we were the only ones standing, I broke the portal, closing the rift between dimensions.
We did it! Redstone actually tastes better than I thought it would.
Okay, buddy, head back to base. And you, follow me, we found the witch.
The general and I rode our horses toward the nether portal I saw the witch go through, and on the way, he explained how we would get through the nether, as well as what she was trying to do. He sent 2 of his scouts to find and spy on the witch, and they followed her to this giant gate deep in the nether that she and her other golem were trying to open. But when we finally did make it to the portal, we were ambushed, and the general tried his best to draw their attention.
Go through the portal and stop her!
I obeyed and watched him get swarmed by the horde as I teleported into the nether, not knowing what would happen to him. It took a few days of traveling through the nether to reach the gate. I didn't know what I was going to do when I got there. I could barely fight the other golem, let alone a powerful witch who could turn me into an egg. But on day 95, I reached the gate, and the witch seemed preoccupied, but the golem was on guard. I think the witch saw me while I was preparing my crossbows because she ran and hid. Now I felt like I had a chance, but there was not much room to outmaneuver the golem. As I got closer, a Vex came flying out of nowhere and started to attack the golem. So I ran in and we faced the golem together. There were some close calls, but we were able to wear him down and finally defeat him. And that's when the witch returned carrying an egg. Who knows what kind of army she had stored away. Luckily, before we could find out, the Arch-Evoker appeared and used the book I found in the stronghold to make her levitate into the air. Then he shot a powerful beam of magic at her, pushing her over the lava, and she fell in once the spell wore off. I stood there in amazement as the Arch-Evoker walked off and his Vex flew up to me.
You did good out there. The Arch-Evoker wants me to give you this.
His Vex gave me a redstone golem egg and also told me the prison I built was already being used, and that the Arch-Evoker wanted me to be the warden. I excitedly ran back toward the portal I came through, and when I got back to the overworld, there was nothing around but the general's helmet. So I got on my horse and started riding back toward the prison. There were a lot of losses on both sides of the fight, but I was just glad it was over. On day 100, I made it back to the prison and took a look around. I put the redstone golem egg in the big prison and went to go rest in the barracks. I was happily surprised when I got to the door.
What? You thought I'd get killed? Nah, it's gonna take a lot more to defeat me.
And that's how I survived 100 days as a Vindicator. Thanks to X Nestorio, Lockdown Life, and Gamers for helping me make this video, to Luke the Notable for starting the 100 days trend, to my patrons for all the support, and to you for watching. Enjoy this video? Then make sure to like and subscribe to support my channel. Thanks again for watching.
Yummy redstone.